Dreamland with your Sensie Owl Bob. I hope you're there. All my devices, or I'm down to one last device that's kind of, not because it's not on the internet all the time. It's got multiple personality syndrome. And my other device decided that it had its own code number and wouldn't work unless I gave it to him. So it's. Have you been noticing this happening to you? So here I am, wondering if anyone's watching or if anyone's going to show up, but that's okay. My car is dead. My Jesus wagon, I went down to my digital guru with my laptop and my devices, and he kind of fixed, played around with them so they kind of worked. And by the time the the laptop is still with him, but my other tablet, it's won't work unless I give it a code, and it's made up one on its own. So anyway, here it is, 1 minute and 60 seconds, and no one's here. So good morning, good evening, good afternoon, and welcome to Dreamy Dreamland. So hey, Charlie got whacked. Do you know Charlie? The guy who is an inside a real Christian, real supporter of the Orange Head game show host, right? And guys, if you don't really realize you're being had, that this is all scripted. I mean, all across the board. The war in Ukraine, the war in the Strip, everything that the wars in Africa, the non-folk attacking the our allies, where we have the big Air Force base in the Mideast. Is it Bahrain, I think, or who knows? Everything changes so much. So soon it'll be just corporate names, right? And so the orange turd is doing everything he can to break everything, and now that's just a symptom of what's going on around here. Like all the properties, all the land, they're going nuts building $1 million homes, but they're not building the homes yet. They're just destroying the mountaintops and putting pads down to build the $1 million homes, right? And so they bought up all the property, probably about $1 billion worth, between three large corporations that are LLCs that, if you look to where they really come from, they all come from the Mideast, Saudi Arabia and all the other guys. So here's some people coming in. So there's one like the three people there. So this is on my device that never does this, but now it does, and all the other devices are dead, and my car is dead, so there's nowhere going. So one of my buds came and got me, and I got the stuff out of the Jesus wagon, and I was able to stick the Jesus wagon into a safe place. So it's like on somebody's corner of where their driveway is, and they helped me do it, and so it's their land and it's not the state's land. And so it's all safe. I could stay there forever. And I went up to a mechanic up the road, and he came down and he tried to jump it, and the motor worked, so we were able to move it even further, kind of into the woods, so it's safe by itself. I got everything out of it, and he said that he would tow it with his tow truck and fool around with it and see what it is. And I said, you get it up there, I'll give you the title and you can sell it for parts, because I have brand new tires on it and blah, blah, blah. So, he was a real good guy. I went to give him some money. So, no, you're not to give me any money. So everything's fine. So now I am totally can't go anywhere, which is fine. God wants me here. Now I'm supposed to have my hip replaced end of the month. Now, by state rules, they have to come and get me. Let's see if they can find me. So that'll be the interesting thing. But I have 3 weeks before any of that has to be even thought of. But I asked my churchy people, all three churches, that I'm like their good bud. I've taken care of every problem they ever had. And when I said, I need a place to stay for about 5 days. Oh, can't do it in my house. No, you can't. No. I said, I'll just sleep on the couch. No. True Christians, every single one of them. But when Chuckles got whacked, and it's obviously Charlie got whacked by a professional, not like some mind-controlled moron waiting in the shrubs, getting flushed like a bird and then caught and then brought to court, right? Not like someone like that, but someone who took this boy out to truly, because all around here, all the little towns, the whole streets are covered in American flags like it would be 4th of July. And he's a hero. He's a saint. He's perfect. He never committed a sin. Now, that guy, I met that guy back in when Obama was there. And all he talked about was economic issues. He didn't talk about Jesus at all, right? And he really didn't get into the Jesus thing until 2016, right? And he started being an exer for Donnie, right? And so that's why he had a lot of juice. And my little thread brings whenever he goes to a college and gives a speech or does that kind of thing where he what do you call it, converses with people who don't have the same opinion he does. He just talks right over them and says, "You're wrong, I'm right. Prove that I'm wrong. Prove that I'm wrong." There is no discussion, There used to be a thing on public TV, which we don't have anymore, called Firing Line. It was with Buckley and some liberal. And it was great because they were both usually it was Gord Vidal or James Baldwin or someone like that, And it was amazing. It was thrilling because these guys actually were, conversing and bringing forth ideas and taking things apart and not screaming at each other. So at night I listened to the BBC, and they had they were talking about Charlie, and they had different. So they had European people talking about him, and so they would blah 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 blah. And then Morning Edition showed up, and so they were talking to. And I used to have a radio show. I used to have a TV show. I used to have a radio show in the New York market, WBAI, right? And I was the guy when Steve Post and Bob Fast were too drunk. I would get on the air, right? The engineer would push all the buttons, and I would just talk and have call-in. Those guys never had call-in. They just go on and on and on. And that's why I learned how to go on and on and on, right? So thank you for the 4 thumbs up, and there's 3 of you there watching, and what are you guys saying? Quirkless of modern day. Yeah, let's see. Anyway, anyway, so it's very obviously we are being pushed off the edge, right? And if everyone, so I'm out here in Johnson City's a big liberal, big ETSU, big school, great radio station, really great people. Everybody is really interesting, but they're woke. I hate that term. Back in the 70s, I worked for a company that I would go and do protocols for, they didn't have DEI, they had politically correct, right? And so I was there, and I said, guys, you can't teach people how to be politically correct. They have to have free choice of whatever they want to say. What you do is teach people respect for each other, and they didn't do that, right? They just wanted to roll over them. And then, so that gave, unk for the Republicans to be take power and then roll over the liberals, and then the liberals. Little did people realize that Democrats used to be the racist Ku Klux Klan, most conservative. They were the guys who, Woodrow Wilson invented, Jim Crow, from the Civil War up until 1910. There was resurrection and redemption, and things were being rebuilt, and they had the black folk going up north and getting jobs in factories, but Woodrow Wilson brought back the other, right? Made everyone the other. He was a real piece of work, and then he had he was the first guy to had an automobile. To be, instead of having horses and carriages, he had an automobile that had a box around it, had bulletproof glass and little eider-down things so people couldn't. He would cruise around D.C. and pick up prostitutes and get blowjobs. Woodrow Wilson, now Democrat, right? Woodrow Wilson, forefather of Bill Clinton. These guys do it all the freaking time. Jack, before he got whacked, was having 5, 6 different girls because he was on every drug there was in the world. But the Republicans were doing the same thing. They belonged to the same club. Go watch George Carlin. Now, my other phone doesn't work, so I can't do screenshots of other people. It's just me now, right? Just me and you. And there's only AI there, right? So hopefully other people would jump in and see the rest of the show. Here, we've been here. Ooh, and they make it so fucking small. I can't even read, even on my glass. So the show's been going on for 10 minutes, right? Uh, what is that? I don't know, a cafe? Whatever. I can't even read it. Again, put things in caps so I can see it, gang. The only one, I can tell who is of the old school of the cadre because the people of the old Janie Poo and Jim and Dragon, whenever he shows up, they basically put everything in caps so I can read it. So everyone who like puts it in teeny weeny letters so I can't see it, when you put it in caps, I know you're not screaming. You're being nice to your Sensie Owl Bob so I can actually see it. So anyway, there's no one watching and 5 likes. So thank you very much. But so really get ready for a while. You think things were really wild? So Neon Husk. That's my code name for Mr. Tesla, and he didn't. He has not done anything. Neon Husk is not a boy genius, right? He's just a cutout. He is a Peter Tilk cutout, and Peter Tilk is a cutout for there was the Jedi Knights and then the Sith, right? So that's Peter Tilk, right? Hail Hydra, that's Peter Tilk, right? Go watch your what's his name, Stan Lee, Captain America. The first 3 movies give you a good heads up of what's really going on. So now I'm in the middle of nowhere. I've done everything you could ever. I mean, I've had 20 different lives that were amazing. I've traveled the world. I've had amazing women. I've been a well-known artist, a well-known engineer, a well-known fixer, a well-known, you name it, right? I've done it, right? And I'm here just to be Love's Co-Creation's doula. Now, you say, Sensie Owl Bob, what's Love's Co-Creation? Go read your Bible. Go read your Torah. Go read your Quran. Go read your Bhagavad Gita, right? What is Love's Co-Creation? That is the creator force within this dimension. In Genesis, and in the beginning, everything was black. It's not that there wasn't anything there. It was just black. What does that mean? It was nighttime. And then there was light. What does that mean? The sun rose. Who's the sun? Jesus Christ. He was around from the beginning. And he wasn't, we're going to make humans in that's what it is. When you read the Hebrew into English, it's, there's Elohim, right? That's the plural of gods, right? El is God. It's Love's co-creation. So when you see in Genesis, Elohim says, we're making, man in our, meaning, plural, more than one God, right? So we got 10 commandments and it's only have one God. Well, that's Love's co-creation, right? And that moment when the Hebrew tribes left Egypt to go over the Jordan into the Promised Land, and, Moses kills somebody. So he's not going into the Promised Land. So as long as he's alive, the rest of the 2 million Hebrews have to roam around the desert. Well, they're not going to starve. They got a little bucket. Every morning there is, this whole, meal, a Happy Meal. Where do you think McDonald's got the Happy Meal? It came from, manna falling from heaven, right? So anyway, that's kind of where that was. And if you ever saw the movie, Edgar G. Robinson, what's his name? The guy playing Moses goes up to the mountains and talks to God. And the burning bush, carves out the 20 commandments. And, Moses is walking down. It's a hard, to come up that big steep hill. He kind of trips and, he had 4 tablets in arm and 10 of those tablets got smashed to the ground and he just had 10. And that's the one he brought back, and he's overlooking everyone, and they're making a golden god, a bull, and Jaeger, he's like, woo wee. Everyone's got a big heart on, and everyone's dancing half naked, and, just having a good old party, drinking booze, smoking boo, and, Moses throws the laws down on top of them, and ba-boom. And there we got Israel. Now we got Israel. All those guys fornicating, they're fornicating. And what is fornication? What is that fornicating, right? Fornicating. You know what fornicating is? It's not that. It's not that. It's not that. It's not that. Fornicating is when whatever you do, and that is your false god. Meaning you're got your job and you live for your job, and that's all there is, and you want to be successful, and you're going really full bore, and it's all about you and your job, and you're going to be the best and the famous and the richest. That's fornication. It's not just sex. Sex is, there's two things: gender and sex. Sex is reproduction. Gender is this gradating scale of humans. Remember Mr. Potato Head, right? Well, that's gender, right? But instead of 5 noses, eyes, there's like hundreds. It's a real smorgasbord, and that's what it is. Not just boys and girls. That's sex. That's reproduction. The rest, that's gender. And if you read your Bible, it's in there big time, right? So you read your Bible and in the beginning, and we made right? And the snake goes, "Hey, eat that apple. You won't die." "I won't die." "No, you won't. Go ahead. You just put your tongue on it. Just sniff it. Pull it down. Just ooh, it tastes. Smells. Oh, it's an amazing taste. Don't take a bite. Go ahead. Did you die? No. But I feel so bad. I feel so bad. Oh, I feel so bad. That's fornication, kids. And don't believe a word I say. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, and welcome to Dreamy Dreamland. Come on. There's 3 new people. Holla some thumbs up. Let's get those thumbs up. Let's get me on let's get me going wild. Let's see everyone, hear this show. No one talks low. You hear everyone bad mouthing the orange turd or bad mouthing, SOC or whatever, right? Everyone's bad mouthing each other, and it's part of the theater. They're reading the script, right? They all belong to the club, and you don't, right? All those farmers out there, right? With all these little tariffs, and they can't sell anything to anybody. No one's buying their stuff. Plus, they've had, they had early spring. Everything started to pop up. They watered it. It rained. It was great. And then around, February, March, between March and almost April, it stopped raining. Everything, west of like the Ohio Valley, it's been in a drought all summer. It's all like, forget about it. Even here, it's in a drought. Now, it rains a little bit at night, so the forests are green, and they aren't going to burn up. But the UV is like off the charts. So all of the big tall trees, the tuba poplars, they're barbecued up there. I look at them at my little binoculars, and they are toast, right? And certain plants are more sensitive to UV than other plants, and so they're, so it's, so wait till this Halloween comes. It's almost here. Halloween is almost here. It's almost here. Halloween. And all the scariness that we pretend is there will really be there. Will really be there. And there will be the eye looking at you going, "I control you. I control you. I control you. You do what I say or else. You have to put this tattoo in your forehead. You're going to take all your biometrics and you'll be no more money, just your face. And that's the mark of the beast. And if you don't do it, you won't eat." Well, hey, try not eating. That's what I do. I have no money, right? They've got my food stamps down to 35 cents. So, so I'm look pretty good. I'm not like big and fat. I don't weigh 500 pounds. I'm down to 199. I don't have to pump iron. I don't have to do, no. All I am is nice to people. I go out when I had the Jesus wagon, I had food in there, cans of food, because I help run a food bank. And people, why are you taking all that food with you? I said, because I'm giving it to people who can't get here. And why are you taking all those Bibles? We put all the Bibles there for people to take. I said, yeah, that's why I take them, because no one takes them. You don't give them to anybody. So I'm taking 20, 30, 40 Bibles every week and handing them out to the homeless people, right? I give them 2 or 3 cans. I give them some, energy bars and about 5 bottles of water, right? And tell them that Jesus, and then we pray. And I will stop in the middle of the highway and put my blinkers on and do that. And this one cop pulled me, what are you doing? And I walked over and gave him a Bible. And he looks at it. He goes, see, here's an energy bar. How about a bottle of water? You need to be hydrated. He goes, what are you, Jesus? I said, no. I'm just his doula. And he was like, my mother was a midwife. I know what a doula is. I said, yeah, that's what I do. And so he puts his blue lights on and lets me stay there as long as I want, giving food and comfort to the homeless. And then they came out of nowhere and started cleaning up my car. And he said, I didn't know there'd miss this many homeless people. I said, there's even more, buddy. And all around you guys, that 3 of you, there are more, anyone in America, within 5 miles of wherever you are, there's at least 1,000 homeless people who are living rough, who have nothing to eat, who everyone spits on them. They look on them as the other. And soon, I will be seeing you as the other. You're the other. I see you. Good luck with that. How many are there? Oh, there's only 1 down. Come on, 5. We need more thumbs up. How many minutes? And it's so teeny, I can't even enlarge it. 22 minutes and 6 seconds. So, hey, man, I can read that. I'm a leave, whatever that means. Message is held in review. Okay, too bad. Kirk was MK of modern day. Okay, whatever you say. Hi. A lot of smiley faces. Thanks a lot. I can't even comprehend what that America, whatever. Anyway, so. Oh yeah. Bodily functions are one of God's greatest gifts. I mean, whenever you pinch a loaf, if it's just the right size, and if it's fluffy, and it slides out so nice, and you can feel your whole colon kind of emptying like a snake, that mouse is going out. Yeah. Or if you really got to piss, gotta piss. And now, I mean, when I was a youngster, there were public toilets everywhere. Now there aren't any. Right? So. Yeah, we're gonna, like I said, by Halloween, it's gonna be scary. Ooh. Anyway, so no matter what happens to me, I've had an amazing, blessed life, my whole freaking life. I've shown you pictures. Go back. I have like 8 years of show here, Dreamy Dreamland, and must have at least 2,500 shows by now. Tons of stories, right? And so just go to Dreamy Dreamland and go to videos, Dreamy Dreamland videos, put your finger on them and just go whip. And where it says all, you hit all, and they're all there, and then you just go whip, and then go boop, 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 boop. It'll stop at one, and you hit it, and you watch it, and if it's interesting, you watch the whole thing, or half of it, or a tenth of it, and then you go to the next one, and the next one, and the next one, and the next one. And you'll get a world view. That'll be interesting. That'll be kind of what is kind of drew you to Dreamy Dreamland in the first place. And there's a level of information and a level of understanding. And it's not understanding, it's overstanding. That's why you go, this is different. Because to understand it means the man has his boot on your neck. That's understanding. You're underneath it. You're underneath that boot. Okay, I'm doing it. I'm doing it. Overstanding is that you're like 5 blocks away watching the man jerk off on somebody else, right? And that's what's going on. Our elected officials, they're all, and that's why nobody wants little, what's his, a sex boy's black book to come out, because everyone's in it. Every politician. I mean, a guy who was England's, you know, guy in America, it came out that he was there. There are pictures of him in bathrobes with little kids, right? So, I mean, that's what everyone was doing. I remember all those in the 90s, they were talking, what's his name? The guy who was, the secret hero going on about the pedophile pizza guys, all of that. And that was all true. Everything that you hear is true, but not in perspective. Herman Goebbels, whatever his first name, Larry Goebbels, whatever Adolf Hitler's minister of propaganda was, basically said propaganda works when you have 60% truth and 40% your propaganda, your line, your point of view, your a prejudice, your bias, right? And that you repeat it over and over and over, and that's how the orange jury gets, there are terrible people. We have to get out of America. The rapists are this, the immigrants. We have to, and that's all he talked about. Immigrants, get rid of them. Immigrants. And then he got in for 4 years, and he totally screwed things up and totally mishandled everything. And the pandemic was a good example. I mean, he sold his buddies. I said, hey, Donnie, why don't you sell us all of the pandemic stuff that, everyone has put in warehouses just in case, and like sell it to us for $1. And then the pandemic comes and they have all the masks, they have all the PPE, they have all the air ventilators, and they make people pay out the kazoo for them. It's called grifting. So just keep a good eye on this. Just wait till October. Just wait till October. Just wait till October. Oh my God! Oh! No food in the supermarket. And because of our Second Amendment, everyone, his brother, is going to have a gun. I had no idea how to use it. Well, that guy who shot Charlie was a professional. He's never going to be found. And if anyone gets found, they'll be out in the desert somewhere, and they'll have a note. I shot him, and he'll be dead. And he'll be like, basically rotted and eaten by wolves, and that'll be that. But the real guy, the guy who pulled off that shot, he was like, 300 yards away on top of a building, and just gets him right in the carotid artery. Not in the neck. There were a lot of places he could have hit, and he'd survive, but he got him right, and it was, whoop, he was dead. All his blood was out, like within minutes. And so long, Charlie. Just like I remember Charlie Tuna, that was that guy, Charlie Tuna. So that shooter will never be found. Oh, but the chucklehead in the golf course, yeah, they found him. The kid on top of the roof that was up there for an hour and a half. Hey, there's somebody up there with a gun. Look at that, look at that. And then, boom, 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 right? And Donnie gets under the rostrum. 4 people get shot, 1 dies. He's a hero. And Donnie comes up with a ketchup thing in his ear, and then he's doing this, and then he's got a little tampon on his ear when he comes to the Republican convention, and everyone cheers, and then, in 2 weeks, he's going to have the tampon on, and there's no scar whatsoever. Oh, it's a miracle. God did it. God. Hey, Donnie, what's your favorite part of the Bible? Oh, all of it. Oh no, but whatever. It's what's gonna call it? The second, what's his name's? Oh yeah, he's a real Christian. Donnie's a real Christian. I mean, he is. He is the real deal. Now, I love me some Chump. I just love Donnie Chump. I just love him. I love him because Donnie. Did you ever read the book Heart of Darkness? Right. Go read that. Right. where it falls from the center, right? Watch out from the fall from the center. So Donnie's taken out our government, all the little pins that held everything up, all the guardrails, all the norms Donnie's taken out and put in chuckleheads. Look at his cabinet. They're all billionaires. The guy who's in charge of the energy department, is he a physicist? Is he Nobel laureate? No. He got there because he's a billionaire. He knows what he's doing. He's a billionaire. How did he make that billion? Oh, he started a chicken franchise. I love me some Donnie Chump. Yeah, I can love. And he puts neon chump, neon husk in front of, you know, douche, and all he does for about half a month, 3 or 4 weeks, he goes into the IRS. He goes into every place. He pulls out every server, takes it back to his new super brain in Tennessee, in Memphis, right? And it's all in an old Electrolux factory, and he's putting all that data into his new AI, and he's taking all that plant is right by the grid, so he's taken every kilowatt that poor little town had. Now nobody has juice, and he doesn't have enough, so he puts 50 gas turbines, and he blows all the toxic waste of those turbines into the black neighborhood. Hey, we've been doing it for years. Why not do this? I love me some Daddy Jump. I love him because he is destroying this country in months. Usually the end of empires takes, at least 100 years, 200 years, maybe 300. Donnie's doing it, by October. So what is that? From January to October. So anyway, so that's again Donnie Chump's super ego, a Johnny Toilet. So anyway, and you guys, there's no. Anyway, so it's now 25 minutes and something seconds. And anyway, the last few shows, every other one doesn't go up for some reason. Who knows? But I don't really care because somebody there's watching, and it's the pebble into the YouTube pond. And again, just wait for Halloween. I mean, every day from now on, things are going to get weirder and weirder and weirder. Good luck. See you later, kids. Are you sure? Yep.